Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and the weather's been a little weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of freezing, because I think we've had some really freezing days for December, and then like hot.
Well, yeah, like the last couple of days felt like spring. Even my kids commented on it. They're like, feels like spring today. And I'm like, don't say that. But yeah, it kind of does.
It did. I like when I got into the car this morning, it was like the birds were chirping. And I was like, it did feel like a spring.
No, this is what
spring
needs to happen.
My least favorite.
It needs to get very cold. And it needs to get snowy. And it needs to feel like Christmas, snowy, cold weather to kill all these germs. Because right now, okay, my kids have been sick so much this year. Right now, I have I had one kid with strep last week. I have one kid with strep this week. It like never ends. I have friends. I have a friend I talked to this morning who has been throwing up all night. The schools are full of stomach viruses, and strep and who knows what else. And it's just like, at least when the kids get on Christmas break, like maybe there can be something can give, because I feel like it's just like this ongoing round of sicknesses. I'm so sick of it.
Everybody's sick.
Yeah, everybody's sick.
And you get a cough, you can't get rid of it. But like, it's weird whenever one day is like super cold, and then the next day, because yesterday it was hot. I mean, I'm going to say hot, but hot for like December. My sisters and I went shopping, and I was in a couple stores, and I'm like, turn the heat down. It's 60 degrees. It was in the 50s. We go, but and I don't know if I don't know. I feel like that the temperature used to just do its thing and then glide into the next. But we were like, wham! Wham!
Yeah.
Right in your face.
Yeah, it's definitely up and down.
I want snow for Christmas.
Me too.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas too.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, I can't imagine like being out in a California or Florida, where it doesn't get cold and snowy. Yeah, to me, I don't know. I just don't know if I would feel as Christmassy. I don't know if I would either. The palm tree swaying.
Yeah.
Well, I've got on that site, Old House or whatever, Old House or whatever, and some of these people are sharing their old Victorian homes. This one was like this beautiful green, trimmed out white, decorated in red and white, snow-covered ground, and I was like...
It was probably AI. So... I hate to be the one that burst your bubble, but on that...
I want that house.
Well, it probably wasn't real. So
I feel better because I was... the green-eyed monster, I was like, I want your house.
Thou shalt not covet houses made by AI. Okay?
Okay.
So a lot of those house Facebook pages right now are people posting AI-generated images. So they'll just type in, like, show me a beautiful Victorian home in the snow with greenery and decorated and then up pops this perfect house.
Whoa!
And there's a lot of times you can zoom in and you can be like, okay, well, that isn't right. And you can, if you really study the picture, you can kind of figure it out. Yeah, but here's my clue to all of you out, because this isn't just on this particular Facebook page. It's on like home decor pages, decorating pages, like people that like to buy decorations for their house, and you're always looking at like inspirational pictures.
Yeah.
Like, tons of those are AI now. So if it looks too good to be true, it's AI.
And let me tell you another thing. Your hair pictures.
Yeah.
Your hair color pictures, your haircut pictures, none of that's real.
Yeah.
The curl,
people that bring in pictures to you, like, I want my hair to look like this.
Like, it ain't happening because that's not real.
That's AI.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, it's insane. But I
got to tell real, because one lady brought it in and she's like, "Well, you see how and I said, "Oh, I see it." I said, "I can get close." I said, "But that picture's not real." I said, "In order for me to do this, I would have to count out this piece has 12 pieces of hair, so I'm gonna have to count out 12 of your hairs." And then, it's just too perfect. It is just too perfect. And, and hair, that's not what hair does.
Oh yeah, like, okay, so a few weeks ago was thinking, I'm getting ready to, after Christmas, get new flooring in my house. And I was looking at pictures of kitchens. Not that I need a new kitchen. I like my cabinets and everything, but I just was just kind of going to update things. I was getting an idea of what color flooring looks good with my color cabinets, blah, blah. So I looked through a few pictures of kitchens. Well, the next thing you know, my Facebook feed is nothing but pictures of kitchens.
Yeah.
And some of them were so hilariously, obviously AI that, I mean, it made me laugh out loud for real. Like this one kitchen, it was beautiful. It had green cabinets and then it was decorated for Christmas, and it had a Christmas tree on the floor, a full-blown, full-size Christmas tree right in front of the oven door. And it was a place nobody would ask.
Yeah.
And then it had,
Okay.
I don't remember all of it now, but anyway, basically all of the useful things in the kitchen that you would need access to were blocked by decorations. But in the picture, it looked beautiful, and you're like,
I bet.
oh my, and your first response is, oh, the colors, the green, the
love
red,
that
perfect Christmas kitchen, the rugs. And then you're like, but why did they put a sink on top of the dishwasher?
Yeah.
And why is there a Christmas tree in front of the oven? That would never work. And why, all of these other things you start questioning.
Why,
and you're
why,
like,
why?
that's
Why,
because
why,
it's not
why?
real. It is AI.
Yeah, I don't like this AI thing because it's making people think it's a distorted reality.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can't. That's not happening. Yeah.
Yep.
It is weird though that everything. But I'll tell you what was weird because like when we were redoing our back porch and stuff, I love them stupid spiral staircases.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean I probably would get dizzy going down the one now that I'm getting older. But I'm like, ooh, Jim, when we do that out of our with spirals. So we were having a conversation about it. A conversation, not on my phone.
Yeah.
Jim and I were having a conversation about it. I pull up my Facebook and what is everywhere? These things are listening to us.
Well, you can
people.
turn your microphone off.
How do you?
in your
You may have
settings,
to do that because
so it doesn't
I
do
pulled
that.
on my Facebook. Every other scroll was those weird stairs.
No, all my microphones are turned off. So my apps don't do that to me because I have the microphones turned off. They will do that if I search for something, though.
Yeah.
Like it follows my searches just like it did with the kitchens. When I looked for pictures
Yeah.
of kitchens, then it started showing me kitchens. But it didn't do it because I was talking about kitchens.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I was building when I win the lottery and I build a Victoria, I'm going to build that AI house.
Yeah.
It was just great. It was a rich evergreen.
Oh, I know.
Trimmed out in white.
I always say,
amazing.
The Bible says that he's preparing us a mansion in heaven. And I always say, well, mine will be the snowy Victorian on the corner. So if you're out walking those streets of gold and you see a snowy Victorian on the corner, that'd be me. I don't know where Jason will be. I don't think he wants a snowy Victorian.
Yeah, I don't know where Jim's going to be either. I don't know.
Maybe the back of the house would be like a
a
beach house or something for him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is funny though how all that stuff,
Yeah.
how it listens to you.
Yeah.
It's creepy, and it's only fixing to get worse.
Oh yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I got an ad here, so I picked out one. This one's from the 1800s. Look at this one. It's a wine ad.
Ooh.
Of all good things with which we're blessed, Mason's wine essence are the best. Listen to so this is like talking about the 6 pence. That's talking pence, so this is European.
Yeah.
I can't remember what side I got this
Nottingham.
from. Nottingham. 6 pence will buy you a bottle. 60 will make glasses. In 660, which will make glasses in 6 minutes of delicious, non-intoxicating wine.
Nice.
But look at this. Mason's wine essence, ginger. Look at all this ginger. And then over here, Mason's fruit wines.
I think that ginger wine would be awful. That's what I think.
Oh, it would have to be. Yeah.
Not a fan of ginger.
I don't think it. Do you not like that ginger salad up at Fujiyama?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. Newball
But
and
I don't
Mason.
like ginger.
I don't like ginger either.
Like, I don't know, certain types of ginger.
Yeah,
I guess.
isn't that it? But it's Santa Claus. But look at that old. This is from like the 1880s. It's an 1880s ad.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a kind old soul, though.
Yeah.
Like, good.
And look, like
Good
his little cap. It
illustration.
looks like
Good
he's almost got
artist.
feathers in his cap up there.
Yeah, I bet or is it holly leaves?
I don't know. Well, I think it might be holly leaves. Your eyes are better than mine. But I thought this was really neat. I'd never heard of Mason's Wine Essence are the best, but they're Santa Claus. Because like our ad on our last show was you dreaming of a white Christmas sewing machine. So I picked out one for me. It's
wine. Sewing machines for Beth and wine for Stacey.
The wine ad for me. Yeah, but I thought that was kind of a neat picture.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that
The
was
Santa
super
looks
cute.
cool. It's funny whenever you get to going to and looking for old photos and stuff.
Oh,
and
the ads out there.
the ads are
amazing.
they're actually pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to take a commercial break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about a famed composer of the 1800s that's buried in Elmwood. We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and I'm going to talk about the life of J.E. Spilman. We actually, Dr. Bunnell portrayed him on one of our Shadows of Elmwood cemetery tours.
Yep.
And I think we might have mentioned him.
We went into him briefly on another show, I think, when we talked about the cemetery tour.
Yeah, but
we didn't go into the whole story.
It's big. And this guy lived, died, and is buried here in Flora. And I didn't realize exactly what all was happening. I mean, I'm going to read the story because it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As we near the holy day of Christmas, and I like that, the holy day of Christmas.
Yeah, holy day of Christmas.
Holy day of Christmas. It is an appropriate time to remember a local resident who has a prominent place in the history of the beautiful music that is heard and sung at this time of year. Jonathan E. Spilman was the composer of the music for Away in the Manger.
I used to sing Away in the Manger all the time when I was little. I love that one.
It's still one of my favorites. I think we're doing it New Year's Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
You can do it New Year's Eve too if you want.
Yeah. And he is buried in Elmwood Cemetery in Flora. He was a well-known American composer who was first a lawyer and then a Presbyterian minister.
I knew he was a minister. I did not know that he was a lawyer first.
Yeah, he was a lawyer.
Okay.
And it's so crazy. He was connected with such famous personalities as Robert Burns, Martin Luther, President Zachary Taylor, Jefferson Davis, and Edward Beecher, brother of Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Holy cow. Okay, this guy is a Flora guy.
He's a Flora guy.
And he knew and hung out with these people.
Yeah.
So I wonder, some of those, Jefferson Davis, wasn't he the president of the Southern states during the Civil War? Mm-hmm. But then he was also friends with Harriet Beecher Stowe's brother?
Yes.
So he was kind of friends with people on both sides, the South and the North. Mm-hmm.
What if he was kind of interesting?
What if he was a spy?
Maybe he could have been a spy.
I don't think he was.
I doubt it.
That's a side note. Okay, back to the real story. He hung out with the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Zachary Taylor.
Yeah.
From Flora.
And
do you guys know anyone in Flora right now that hangs out with the president?
Nope.
Me either. Keep going.
In the July 1968 edition of The Register, published by the Kentucky Historical Society, a complete history of J.E. Spilman was published as written by Judge Earl R. Hoover of Cleveland, Ohio, and who first encountered Spilman's trail in 1943 while visiting a small antique shop in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Judge Hoover, an amateur historian, finally completed his journey to rediscover the life of Spilman on a visit to Flora in 1951. In the years leading up to Judge Hoover's search...
1851?
No, we're 19.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like later on in his life.
Okay.
This guy is a historian who writes his...
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's gonna write about the life of this man.
Oh, okay.
In the years leading up to Judge Hoover's search for information about the composer, the world lost sight of Spilman, and his identity baffled leading music historians. It was my good fortune to crack the mystery of Spilman's identity and to uncover a life as fantastic as fiction, as well as the story of how he happened to write his famous melody, which was set to two very popular old favorite songs, Flow Gently, Sweet Afton, words by Robert Burns, and Away in a Manger, Judge Hoover said in 1968. This is a heritage of which Flora and Illinois can be proud. Hoover at the time also stated that he felt that Spilman's heritage in Flora would make a good tourist attraction. The following is the story of J.E. Spilman as written by Judge Hoover. I'm going to stop here real quick. I was born and bred in Flora, Illinois. I don't understand how we're not teaching about this man in our schools.
Mm-hmm.
This is, yeah.
And why there's not a historic marker
There should
by
be
his
yeah.
in the cemetery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We definitely
We
need
should work on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to talk to, we need to do something about that because, like, that's serious. I mean, this guy is probably, and we've got some but this guy's probably going to be one of the most famous people out in that cemetery.
Oh, I think he is the most famous person in the cemetery.
I think he is. Yeah.
Definitely.
The Life of J.E. Spilman by Earl R. Hoover. The story begins with pirates, and as suspected by Richard Hill of the Music Division of the Library of Congress, a change of name. The songwriter's first paternal ancestor to step on American soil was his great-grandfather, Henry Spilman. He came from England, and he wasn't really a Spilman, but a Spellman.
Okay.
So the name was changed to from Spelman to Spilman.
Okay.
Okay. At sea, pirates murdered his father, also named Henry. Young Henry settled safely in Westmoreland County, Virginia. Due probably to his extreme young age, he started misspelling the name with an I instead of an E. Henry's son, James, lived in Culpeper County, Virginia. Among James's 8 children was Benjamin Spilman, the songwriter's father, who in 1790 married Nancy Rice. They immediately moved to Kentucky. Benjamin was just 23 at the time. The songwriter was born on April 15, 1812, at Greenville, Kentucky, seat of Muhlenberg County. He was the 12th of 13 children. James Madison was president of the United States, and the War of 1812 was about to begin.
Okay. That's way back. James Madison was the, 5th president of the United States?
Mm-hmm. You would know that more than I do. You do your song.
He's the 4th president.
Don't you have a song you sing?
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, and Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, and Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, and Hayes. I'll stop. You guys don't need to hear that thing. But yeah, I know them all.
The hardship of pioneer travel from Virginia to Kentucky did not quell the restless Benjamin Spilman. About 1818, the year young Jonathan, J.E., became 6, and J.E. who's we're talking about, and Illinois was admitted to the Union, the Spilmans plunged westward again, settling into White County on the plains of Illinois. That is where Jonathan Spilman grew up. In 1831, young Spilman entered Illinois College at Jacksonville, whose president was Reverend Edward Beecher. So there's your connection.
Mm-hmm.
The brother of Henry Ward Beecher and Harriet Beecher Stowe. The father, Lyman Beecher, later an eminent Cincinnati preacher and president of Cincinnati's Lane Theological Seminary, has been called the father of more brains than any other man in America. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's the father of more brains than any other man in America.
So he had super smart kids.
Apparently.
Wow.
In time, Illinois College would come among its sons, orator William Jennings Bryan and Abraham Lincoln's law partner, William H. Herndon. But now it was so shiny new that Spilman was a member of the first graduating class of 1835. He had the honor of also being the valedictorian. So this guy's pretty sharp, right?
Yeah.
I should have read on.
Okay.
He had the honor of also being valedictorian. Of course, the class had only 2 graduates.
Oh, funny. Well, that's nice.
That would be about the only way I would become valedictorian.
Yeah.
You're valedictorian. Well, chances are I probably wouldn't be. It'd be like if I was the only person in the class. That's funny. Of course. But do not underestimate the competition. Today, just a handful of statues stand on the grounds of the Illinois Capitol. One is that of Kentucky-born Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
Another is that of Richard Yates, the Kentucky-born Civil War governor of Illinois, United States Senator, and Spilman's classmate.
Oh, my.
So, Mr. Spilman, who's buried in Elmwood, was the valedictorian. There was only one other guy. The other guy was second runner-up to him. There was only 2 of them, but he was the governor of Illinois, United States Senator, and his classmate.
Wow.
So I'd say that was some pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty tough competition.
Yeah.
But still, how cool. I mean, this guy, he knew people all over. I mean,
from coming up from... It does. I mean, but the craziest thing though that the fact that his great grandfather was killed by pirates.
Yeah.
Coming over in the 1780s.
Yeah.
The 1700s. Isn't that? I
yeah.
can't even imagine. Are there pirates anymore?
Yeah, there are. You can watch them on.
Where are
YouTube.
they? I've been on a few cruises. I never see them. How come they don't go to where cruise ships? What is the deal with pirates?
I think the cruise ships make sure they don't go where the pirates are.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the oceans are divided kind of into, like, areas.
Right,
like,
where you can't.
Yeah, and I think that there's areas where you don't want to be on a cruise liner. Have you seen, like, some of those shipping container boats that have, like, all these pirate protection devices? So they, like, when they get into certain waters, they, like, open up all these almost like bayonet kind of things that come down off of their hull and stick out like jets all around. So like when a pirate ship pulls up and like tries to take over the boat, like they can't get to it because all these things would stab them.
Get out of town.
No. And then they have like they have like things where all the little ladders that go to the different levels of the ships, they have things that gate them off so you can't get up the stairs. And I mean, there's all these like anti-entrance things on some of these shipping ships.
I had no idea. Shipping ships.
What do you call them? Like they're the like
cruise
cargo,
liner.
not cruise liner.
Oh,
like cargo ships.
Yeah.
That get overtaken by pirates in certain waters.
Isn't that you just don't think about?
Something you can Google. It's a whole rabbit hole. I'm telling you.
Well,
you can. And you're like, what in the world? And a lot of these things don't even stop these people. They pull up.
Right.
They pull up in these smaller boats and they take over the big boats.
You know, it's weird. I wonder if like people grow up and be like, I want to be a pirate.
I think I'll be a pirate.
And then they do.
They're. I mean, I don't know how pirates are portrayed in like Disney stories and stuff like that. Like, kind of gloss over the fact that they were horrible people that murdered and raped and pillaged and all these things.
Yeah.
That's that's still what they're doing, but like they're carrying machine guns and they just like shoot everybody in their way.
What was that movie with Tom Hanks in it about the pirates coming on board? Do you remember that movie? Gosh, what? Ty, Google that. You remember he played that one a pirate? I think pretty sure it was Tom Hanks. And it wasn't that long ago, and I'm thinking there are still pirates.
Yeah,
Captain Phillips. Yeah, it was about that guy's life.
Yeah, they're still pirates.
Well, that's just kind of.
But I don't think they say "our matey," and they don't wear.
And they're not Johnny Depp.
They don't. No, they're not Johnny. They don't look anything like Johnny Depp.
And they don't wear guy liner.
No, and they don't have a patch on their eye or a peg leg or a parrot on their shoulder.
Well, that's a shame. If you're going to be a pirate, by cracky, be a pirate.
Yeah.
Do it all the way.
I know, not them.
Who's the pirate on Peter Pan?
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my thought there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so but after we chase that rabbit down a hole,
okay,
here we go.
Back to Spilman.
There could only be one valedictorian, but generous Jonathan Spilman eased the disappointed Yates by allowing him to become the first person to receive an Illinois college diploma. Well, how nice was he?
Yeah. I think he was a good person.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're disappointed that I'm smarter than you? Here, you can get your diploma first.
Okay,
That's crazy.
keep going.
Oh, my goodness. Spilman now reversed his life plan. 20 years later, he would reverse his reversal. We're going to take a
commercial break,
and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you a young picture of Mr. Spilman. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we are talking about Mr. Spilman, the composer of the 1800s that lived, died, and is buried in Flora. And we agree that he is the most famous person.
The most famous person that is buried here.
That's buried here.
And most people don't know a thing about him.
They don't know a thing about him. Yep. In the fall of 1836, Spilman and his classmate, Richard Yates, entered Transylvania's law school.
Transylvania?
Transylvania's law school.
Now we're going from pirates to vampires.
Is there?
It seriously says Transylvania, not Pennsylvania.
It says Transylvania's.
Okay.
Okay, so like, where is it? Where is? I mean, seriously, where is there a Transylvania?
I don't know. I thought Transylvania was in Romania.
Me too.
They didn't go to Romania to go
I
to
wouldn't
school.
think so. Okay, let's keep reading.
What, Transylvania what?
It just says entered Transylvania's law school.
Google that one, would you, Ty, please?
Yeah. There, the warm friendship that had grown between them at Illinois College became more firmly...
It's in Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington, Kentucky has Transylvania Law School. Now we all know. I didn't know that.
What?
You know, you learn something new every day.
Well, yeah.
That's a new one for me. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you. So they became firmly cemented. Spilman graduated in 1837, but returned the next year for an extra course of lectures as a resident graduate. Okay, so did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
They entered law school in 1836, and he's graduating in 37.
Yeah, just 1 year's all it took back then. There wasn't as many laws. Probably guessing.
Let's show the young picture of Mr. Spilman. Look at him. Spilman in his younger days.
He looks like Mark Twain.
He does look like Mark Twain. Look at that head of hair he had.
Yeah.
Isn't that? Yeah. He does. He looks just like Mark Twain.
Uh-huh.
It's a blurry picture in the thing, but that's okay. You get a picture of what he looks like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But look at that hair. He had beautiful hair.
Mm-hmm.
After Transylvania, the paths of the two classmates separated forever, except for one brief moment. Yates, though a native of Kentucky, returned to Illinois for the big role that destiny was saving for him. Spilman remained in Kentucky. They met but once again for an hour-long conversation in Springfield. That's sad.
Just an hour? Hey, old buddy, old friend, let's have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. But, yeah, so they separated forever. First they were cemented.
Yeah, so
and then they were separated
this article
forever.
This is an excerpt of what this man that researched him, Hoover, wrote. Okay, Hoover was a fan of strong verbs.
Yeah.
Now, when I taught writing to my kids when I homeschooled, we were also a fan of strong verbs, and we tried not to use like the words like said, things like that. Like you'd say exclaimed instead of said. You know, like I taught them how to write using strong verbs and strong adjectives. So this guy
cemented.
Yes, cemented.
Cemented is a very
forever
never
to see each other again.
Never to see each other again.
A little bit of dramatic. That's okay.
That's okay. I like it. I like
it
reading
good.
it. It's pretty good.
Makes a good story.
It does. Okay. La 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 la. Spilman, a law student, was taking advantage of a beautiful 1937 summer day as he sat in the shade of a tree on the Transylvania campus, enjoying a book of poems by Robert Burns. Musically inclined, he turned over in his mind, one by one, the tunes he knew by which various poems by Burns had been set. He suddenly came to the lines of poetry that he could think of no music to go with them. That just couldn't be, so he read the lines over and then over again. Somewhere there must be music for such words, he thought, and suddenly there was. You're going to love this line.
Okay.
Under the spell of immortal poetry. Come on. I just gotta see how much longer this story just goes on for days. Okay.
Under the spell of mortal poetry.
Immortal
poetry.
There came to Jonathan Spilman the strains of an immortal melody, strains that neither he nor anyone had ever heard, strains that fit into the company and do honor to the lines of Robert Burns. And Jonathan Spilman, student of law who had tabled a call to the ministry, jotted them down that day under a black locust Transylvania campus tree.
You can read music, right?
Yeah.
So if I Google this music, can you hum it?
Yeah.
Okay.
At his house, piano at hand, he worked out the accompaniment. He did not realize what he had created. How would he? He took a copy to his sweetheart.
What was the name of that poem? The other song he had was...
How far back was that?
Oh, that was at the beginning.
Let's look and see.
No, I can find it.
Oh, you can
just
find it?
Keep going.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll keep going. Maybe if you Google Under the Spell of Immortal
Flow Gently, Sweet Afton.
Flow Gently, Sweet Afton. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do-do-do-do-do-do. So now he's under a black locust Transylvania campus tree. Mm-hmm. At his house, piano at hand, he worked out the accompaniment. He did not realize what he had created. How could he? He took a copy to his sweetheart. She sang it to friends. They suggested publication. Spilman just laughed. They continued to urge him. He mailed the tune to an Eastern publisher, frankly admitting that such a thing was out of his line, but saying that if the publisher thought the song was worthy, he could publish it. Spilman emphasized that he took no responsibility. To his elation, he received a laudatory reply and 25 printed copies.
Wow.
Did you find it yet?
Nope, I didn't. But I might have just.
You might have just done something wrong.
Nope, I might have just found it.
Ooh. You think you got it?
Well, it wants to talk about it, but I don't see
you don't see
music.
The music to it? This is how it happened that in 1838, one of the 19th century's leading publishers, George Willis of Philadelphia, issued a new song in sheet music by Kentucky's J.E. Spilman entitled Flow Gently Afton. The song sold many copies. It is also recognized immediately as the tune sung to another old favorite and one of the most loved Christmas songs, sometimes called Away in a Manger and sometimes called Luther's Cradle Hymn. Did you know that?
Nope.
Huh. So is it the same? Da, 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 da. Is it the same tune, I wonder? And then they just composed it?
I think it's a different melody.
After Transylvania Law School, Spilman practiced law for 18 grueling years in Kentucky. Those years turned into crushing years when Spilman's partner entered politics, saddling him with extra heavy legal loads. He broke down. Fearing permanent injury, he sold his practice at great sacrifice. A little place in the country restored him. There he had time to reconsider the matter he had tabled more than 20 years before. So he writes the song gets published, becomes a lawyer, is a lawyer for 18 years. His partner goes off into politics. Now he's given up law school. He's given up his law practice. So now we're in 1858. In 1858, he returned to work and to his original life plan, the vocation of Christian minister. He was 46 years old. For 38 years, he preached mostly in small towns, including Carmi and Flora, Illinois. There was romance and heartbreak along the way. In 1840, he married Mary J. Menifee, in Nicholasville. She was the daughter of Major John Menifee and Jessamine County. She died 3 years later, 3 days after giving birth to their only child. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So many women died in childbirth.
Very sad.
The baby died just 9 months later. So the baby was born, and she died 3 days later, and the baby died 9 months later. So sad. In 1845, Spilman married Eliza Sarah Taylor of Jefferson County, the sister of Zachary Taylor. They had 10 children. So he had 10 children. 10 children.
Here is I can't find the other one, the Afton one, but here's Away in a Manger, the Spilman version.
Let me see. Okay. Okay, so it's not, okay. Away in a manger, no crib for his bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the heavens looked down where he lay, the little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. So it's got a little
slightly different than the ones that the version. There's two versions, so that's his. That one's his.
The other one's away in a manger, no crib for a bed.
Yeah.
And this one's, I like this one. This one's a little jazzy. Away in a manger, no crib for his bed. That's a cute little tune. Do you remember? I gotta say something real quick. Do you remember? This is so funny. So Dr. Bunnell portrayed Spilman in the cemetery tour. This is so great because Dr. Bunnell came to me and said, "Stacey, should I sing the whole song?" I'm like, "Let's just stick with the beginning chorus because we need."
Yeah.
I'll never forget him asking me that. So we're gonna continue on. So now he's married to Eliza. And they have 10 children. I'm going to take another commercial break, and then I'm going to finish the story. We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Jimmy ordered lumber, doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, Jimmy ordered guns too.
John Lucas,
What?
you better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about Jonathan Spilman, the most famous person buried at Elmwood Cemetery in Flora, Illinois, and all of the things that he's done. And I Googled and found his first melody that he wrote to the poem, and Stacey is going to sing it.
Flow Gently, Sweet Afton. Now, I only got just a little bit of it, but you'll be able to hear how the tune goes. Dun, 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 dun. Wait a minute. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Then basically the line, flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green trees.
It's very tiny.
Yeah. So basically, flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green trees. That's a cute little tune. Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. La da 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 da. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green trees.
Yeah. And from what I can tell from my Google search, there are still orchestras out there and people that perform this as symphonies.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful.
And, you know, he only wrote the music. This was from a poem by Robert Burns.
Yeah,
the words,
writes, yeah,
the words weren't his. The song was.
He's the music. Somebody else is a lyricist.
Yes, he's the composer.
The great heartbreak of J.E. Spilman's life came when he held the pastorate at Maysville, Kentucky, an almost unbelievable story. On the night of Tuesday, August 7, 1866, tragedy stalked the Presbyterian manse as the clergyman and his wife retired for the last time. The manse was perched on the picturesque panorama, and the Spilmans had lived there for about 2 years. And what a scene on which to live. Steamboats plowed their deepest wakes on the Ohio River. The Spilman house was a loge. The Ohio River was a stage. The hills of Ohio were the backdrop. Below, the gigantic actors puffed and paddle-wheeled their cues. Tonight, Elza Spilman was particularly excited because tomorrow she would leave her spectator seat to become an actress in the river's thrilling drama. If she could scan the script tonight, she would turn back her part. For in this very theater, the curtain would roll up on tragedy, and she would be cast as tragedian.
Okay, so
what's that?
It's not really a play. He's talking about his wife, Eliza, is basically an actor in this scene of their life, and what happens to her is a tragedy.
It's a the tragedian. Have you ever heard that word?
No, but I guess it would mean one who is the center of the tragedy.
I think so. She had planned to take a steamer down the river after meeting her son, Charles Spilman, in Cincinnati. The last night, the family planned a unique bon voyage for Eliza Spilman. They would put her on the Bostana No. 3 and then rush home to take their stations to wave handkerchiefs in farewell as she passed.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I remember this story.
The next day, the great ship pulled away from the Maysville Pier. It was twilight, and the ship was weighed down with passengers and freight. But a violent storm was gathering. As the majestic Bostana No. 3 approached the Spilman home, the family saw Eliza at the ship's rail, and she saw them. From the ship to shore to ship, happy handkerchiefs shouted goodbye. As they waved, suddenly the family became aware of the danger of which Eliza was not aware. Something horrid happened during that short interval between the boat's leaving the dock and its arrival near the Spilman home. The night watchman had gone back to the locker underneath the ladies' cabins to fill his lamp with coal oil, and startled sheep on board knocked the lamp out of his hand. Immediately, the rear of the boat was wrapped in flames. Terrified, the family suddenly realized that there, in front of her home, a mother and wife was sailing on a blazing inferno, unaware of her peril. Can you even?
I can't even imagine. Like, bye, Mom, bye. Watching you go by our house on the river, and it's on fire, and she's still waving. She doesn't know.
She doesn't have a clue.
And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Ohio, but it is a very wide river, a very fast flowing river. It's not like she could have dove in and swam.
No. I probably would have taken my chances. Maybe I don't know.
I probably would have tried and hoped for rescue, but no.
But it probably just went shoot too. A moment later, the fire alarm shrieked. Word flashed throughout the boat. Passengers were exhorted to save themselves. Panic rippled through the ship, but a still-nerved pilot stayed at the wheel. Fortunately, not too far away, there was a sandbar. Let me flip this page over. I tell you, the story goes on forever.
How sad.
Yeah. So there was a sandbar. The Ohio shore, there was a sandbar on the Ohio shore, and he rammed the bow into the bar. Most on board were saved. Attempting to escape, Eliza Spilman ran into a broken steam pipe and was severely scalded. Scalded. She reached the hurricane deck, and there she sank into exhaustion and was unable to move. People came to her aid, either carrying her from the burning vessel or throwing her into the river. In a drenching rain, they rowed her across the Ohio on a skiff. She hobbled up the steep hill to her home. In excruciating pain, she died 2 days later on Friday morning, August 10th, 1866, and was buried in the Maysville Cemetery. The splendid Bostana No. 3 was totally destroyed. Spilman was 54, Eliza was 44. They had been married for 21 years. About half of their 10 children were living, including Charles, the oldest, who was 19, and Lewis Hopkins, the youngest, who was only 6. Spilman lived, how sad is that story? But she did get off the boat, but she ran into that pipe, so that probably scalded her.
The story's not funny, but scalded.
Scalded.
She was
scalded. Like, bad girl.
No, she wasn't scolded. She was scalded.
Spilman lived 30 more years, but never remarried. What irony that he should gain fame informing a river to be so gentle. Through J.E. Spilman is forgotten in Maysville today, there still stands the stately First Presbyterian Church where he preached in the 1860s. As of 1968, there still stood the Spilman home. Mrs. Hoover and I entered the little town of Flora, Illinois on July 6, 1951. The population was 5,250. Knocking on the door of the Presbyterian parsonage, I asked the hospitable Reverend F.D. McMartin if he could give some information about Reverend J.E. Spilman, who was once the pastor of his church. He had never heard of Spilman, but he kindly telephoned Arthur Holt, a church's old record. So now this guy's at the Presbyterian church, so Spilman came to Flora and preached at the Presbyterian church, but nobody knew anything about his history.
Yeah.
Go ahead and show the old picture of Spilman while I'm finishing up this story. There he is now. He had never heard of Spilman, but he kindly telephoned Arthur Holt, a church official who had the church's old records. Holt had never heard of Spilman either, but he invited me to his home where his wife would show me the records. Sure enough, there in those more than half-century old handwritten minutes of April 1893, we discovered that Reverend Jonathan E. Spilman was engaged to supply the pulpit on the Sabbath days when Reverend J.F. Flint would be absent. But was this the same Spilman who wrote Flow Gentle, Sweet Afton? The minutes did not say. At that anxious moment, we found preserved in the old minutes book a printed program of the 85th anniversary celebration of the church. There in a list of the church pastors was J.E. Spilman. It said that Spilman had preached in Flora until 1865, when physical infirmities compelled him to resign. The program also added that Spilman was indeed the composer of Flow Gently, Sweet Afton. Mrs. Holt informed us that one person was still alive who may have been old enough to have even known Spilman. She was Grace Hunley. Not only did she know him, they had been neighbors. I was then searching for the last link to J.E. Spilman, and I was about to find it. We drove across town and entered a beautifully landscaped terrain, started hunting, and found it. There, in the heart of Elmwood Cemetery, on the edge of this little community, we found the grave of the man who was not only lost to Flora, but to the world. The humble tombstone gave no inkling of what he had done. It simply said, now you can show the picture of the tombstone. It simply said, Jonathan E. Spilman, April 15th, 1812 to May 23rd, 1896, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. Yes, the man of two rivers and two professions who attained fame with his hobby even before starting to work died in Flora at the age of 84 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What an amazing
story. And what a sad story about his wife.
Oh.
And did you say, I was Googling when you talked a little bit about her, that she was the niece of Zachary Taylor?
She was the niece of Zachary Taylor.
So this is a president's nephew, really, by marriage, is buried in Flora.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just so many cool things about that story.
We got to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure where we would start. I guess you could just, first person we talked to would be Ryan Muskoff, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. The city of Flora owns it. I think you'd have to talk to the city.
Yeah, but that should be there. That's impressive.
Yeah, very.
And so sad. I mean, and a humble man.
Right. And right now we know the story about him because of some other research people have done. But in 100 years, are people going to remember?
Yeah.
So it's like we need to make something a little bit more permanent that people will know who he is and what he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it needs to be. I definitely think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a definite need for the community to know. And that should be studied in school.
I agree.
That should be studied in
school. An important part of our history as a town.
Yeah. I mean, I love history. I love history. I love all the European. I love history. But I think that needs to be known in town.
Yep.
I think it definitely does.
I agree. Okay, so that was a very interesting story about a local man that lived here way back when in the 1800s. But now let's end this show with a little bit of comedy or something that's going to make us giggle and say, "What in the world?"
And this will say, "What?" Yeah.
Okay.
If I was a father in a waiting room and the nurse came out and said, "Congratulations, it's a girl," I think a good gag would be to get real mad and yell, "A girl? You must have mixed me up with that dork," and point to another father.
Okay.
Jack Handy.
Jack Handy. Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. But
yes.
Anyway, that wraps up our show for today. So thank you so much for joining us.
Well, wait a minute. I think.
What do you want to say?
Okay, so this is it. We are actually going to be off for a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. This is our last Christmas show. What a way to end our last show in 2024 on Mr. Spilman. That's great.
That's fantastic. We'll be back after the first of the year.
We should sing them We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oh, we should we?
Yes, you ready?
Can I lip sync or do I?
No, you ready? We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yay!
Christmas
I love
time.
Christmas. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we will see you after the first of the year.
Wow. We'll be back in 2025.
Yeah. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us.
God bless you. Merry Christmas and have a great day.